So again, the big story, the Trump grand jury was supposed to reconvene. They were told to stay home yesterday, and now they're saying they won't be there for the rest of the week. However, there is another development involving another grand jury, and that's one in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. We're expecting to hear new testimony in special counsel Jack Smith's Mar-a-Lago document probe. And it is Trump's own lawyer, Evan Corcoran. He is being ordered to testify now by an appeals court. Corcoran previously sought to assert attorney-client privilege, but now that is being overturned. He is being called to testify in front of a grand jury over the classified documents. Of course, it's that special counsel Jack Smith who is looking into this and also ordered that Corcoran turn over all remaining classified documents in his possession. Investigators describe the documents as key to Trump's alleged scheme to obstruct the investigation, but many are very concerned about the attorney-client privilege being pierced. Another big development, again, of course, it is in the Trump grand jury. The Michael Cohen, the star witness, but he is lying to federal officials in 2018. Check out the letter that's been resurfaced here. The $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels. Of course, that's what Bragg's case is hinging on. It later sent Cohen to prison, but in his letter here, he told the FEC that he used his own personal funds to facilitate a payment to Stephanie Clifford, who is Stormy Daniels, in 2016. Again, he changed his story later, copped a plea deal, and admitted he used a newly incorporated shell company to pay Daniels and then sought reimbursement, he claims, from the Trump organization for that full amount. But again, all of this calling into question his credibility this week, and perhaps that's why we're seeing some delays and reports of another witness that Bragg will call in front of this grand jury. We want to get reaction to this. Former U.S. Ambassador to Germany, former Director of National Intelligence, Ric Grenell, is joining us right now. Rick, what a week. Obviously, we know President Trump has always been very strong to handle all this, despite, the media reporting this week that he would be, the mugshot. He wouldn't even get bail. Wow, what a twist and turn we have here. What do you make of this new development with the grand jury now being delayed for several days?
Look, I thought that once they got Donald Trump's taxes, that was going to be the end of it. Didn't they tell us that? They did Russia, Russia, Russia. They did his taxes. Look, they're hitting him constantly. I'm seeing a lot of people online, a lot of independents, a lot of minorities, a lot of people who are watching this situation and saying, wow, I cannot believe that Washington, D.C. every single day is attacking Donald Trump. He's not even the president. I think this whole thing is backfiring, Bianca. I think people, regular people outside of Washington, people who maybe haven't even supported Donald Trump in the past, are absolutely now seeing what the system is trying to do to this man. And you have to ask yourself, if every single day all of the mainstream media in Washington and all of the levers of government are constantly, every day, trying to get Trump and his family, ask yourself why. Why is the system in Washington so afraid of Donald Trump? And I think there's only one answer. He's got their number. He knows how to reform them. He knows that when he comes back into Washington, that he's got to work very quickly to dismantle the bureaucracy that is not listening to the American people. I mean, look no further than the fact that they told us, that whole system, all those political types told us that there would be World War III if we had Donald Trump in office. That wasn't true. Not only did we not have World War III, we had world peace.
Yeah, we did. And I'm so glad you went there, Rick, because on a global stage where I do want to kind of direct our conversation now, because everyone is focused on the indictment. But let's step back. And what we're not talking about so much is, it is not World War III, but there is definitely a shift happening in Axis. We saw China President Xi Jinping 3 days in Russia with Putin. They have their meeting here. When he's departing, it is translated where he tells Putin change is coming that hasn't happened in 100 years, and we are driving this change together. And, we have the White House press. They did ask about it. Here was KJP's answer to what do you think Xi Jinping meant by that, KJP?
She told Putin at their meeting, change is coming that hasn't happened in 100 years, and we are driving this change together. What do you think that means?
You would have to ask them.
I mean, that's not only a cop-out, it's juvenile. It shows a lack of, intelligence to kind of be able to
she doesn't
extrapolate.
know.
No, but the fact is they're hosting Ted Lasso, and across the world we have this image that's being telegraphed here. Rick, there's some questions, that I think people are having now about the future of where this president is going to go when it comes to China. And we have TikTok today, so I want you just to kind of riff on where we are today globally.
Well, it's really a terrible situation. I mean, KJP, she has no idea how to answer these questions. She's way in over her head. She was hired because of characteristics that are irrelevant, and they put those characteristics out front. And it's really sad, and it's actually offensive. But where we are now is we're watching the Chinese completely muscle us out on the world stage. Let's be very clear. China has outmaneuvered Joe Biden and Anthony Blinken. Anthony Blinken, our Secretary of State, could not be more embarrassed on the world stage. Every single week there is a new issue where he is just literally getting beaten. And China is, meanwhile, bringing together the Saudis and the Iranians for a deal. The Chinese offered the Russians and the Ukrainians a peace deal. They're the ones that are doing diplomacy. Our Secretary of State is doing wine and cheese parties and pretending like culinary diplomacy is key to our future. People need to understand. I know they may not like the mean tweets and they may not like some of the things that Donald Trump has done, but the world was safer. The world was economically on the upswing. The stock market, your 401k, was much better. I think that what we have to realize is that Joe Biden is in over his head. His team doesn't know what they're doing. They're too woke. They identify crazy characteristics as the lead on diplomatic maneuvers. They would rather talk about climate change than peace deals. We don't even have a State Department that has any muscle right now. And for me, as someone who's worked at the State Department for 12 years, it makes me very sad.
Sorry to hear you say that, but I know it is the truth, and you're speaking from your heart. Ric Grenell, great to see you today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here real soon, I hope.
Thanks, Bianca.